Everybody, this is Tiger, and today's Veterans Day 2025. And so, um, wanted to share a story or two, um, not really about my service, but about some people that I have met along the way. And so, years ago, I used to make custom scooter seats, right, for Suzuki Bergmans and stuff like that. And a guy reaches out to me and he says, "Hey, you know, I take and go out to the West Coast every year, put a lot of miles on and a lot of riding and I need a little bit better seat, So I grab one of mine and I take it over to his house and he's got this house. It's okay. And got him a shop, I guess he was mechanically inclined. And so we got the seat stuff situated and we were talking, and he kind of had his hand was kind of messed up, right? And so we got to talking, and so this guy tells me, he says, well, he said back in Vietnam, and I mean, I'm guessing by now this guy's got to be 85 years old, because it's been a few years since I gave all that up over 10 years ago. And so at the time, this guy was around 70, and so um, he said, well, he said, he was special forces, and so let me just to tell you, um, this was a guy who commanded respect without, I mean, just him being there was kind of intimidating, to tell you the truth. He was about 6 foot, 6 foot two, and for being 70 years old, I was scared of the guy. I gotta be honest with you. I was like, I don't want to make this guy mad, because he you know, and so what he told me, he said, yeah, he says, we're out, back in Vietnam, you he says, I broke my wrist. He said, I forget what he said happened, but he said, I broke my wrist, and so the medic, they reset it, they put it in a cast. He said, but it's just never been right, and I've had problems ever since. They've gotten worse, and he said, I've been going to the VA, and they've got this case open, but they just deny it because they say, we don't have any proof that you ever broke your wrist. You should have that, and the and I'm sitting here and I'm like, and I remember that, when I went into basic in '86, everything that we had was all based on your medical records, and there was this importance of getting copies of your records, because things could get lost. And so what you have to remember is that, um, in '86 they were just getting ready to start going into the electronic copies of your records. And so if you move back, take that back another 15, 20 years back to Vietnam, it was all based on the copies of your papers. And so if your outfit got hit, if you had incoming and they hit your medical tent, your records were blown up. And then you had all your proof is gone. And so this guy's telling me, and it was very frustrating for me, because he felt that because this was a Vietnam injury, that the VA should pay for his surgery and get, and at that age, and so he kind of gave up on it, right? I mean, after a while, and it's a shame, that people, that this happens, but it's a system that's set up, and unfortunately, sometimes people get screwed. And so his unit, or I whatever units, they were having a reunion, right? And they got together, and there was one friend he had that they stayed in touch over the years, and he was there, and they're sitting there talking, He goes, yeah, man. He says, yeah, check out this picture of us. And he pulls out this picture, and it's the two of them at a, a picnic table there that they had, and they were, in the garrison time of it, and they were having a beer or whatever. And this guy's standing there, and he's got his arm on the table like this, and he's got a cast on his arm. And he says, oh my God, this, I don't know how many years this guy's been trying to prove this. So ends up that because of this, he said, hey man, can I take this picture? I need this as proof for my surgery. So he comes back home. He goes and submits his the picture, add that into his claim, and then at that point they said, oh, absolutely. And they were, he was getting ready to have surgery, I think, after he came back. And so, the points I would tell you, there's some people that was in the service, and they were bad people. And I don't mean bad as in you don't like these people. I mean, there were some people that 50 years after Vietnam, do might be in a wheelchair, but I'd probably still be afraid of him. There are some people that were in the service, and let me tell you something. They could put harm on about anybody, and and I'm thankful that these guys, that they're on our side. All right. So, yeah, luckily, this had a good happy ending. It was his arm, and he had made it all the way through retirement, but he had issues along the way. So, um, anyway, I want to say thank you guys. Happy Veterans Day. So, all right. Have a good one. Thank you.